Hey folks, Ted Boss here. I'm a licensed therapist in Idaho and Utah. And today we're going to do a quick video on guilt versus shame. So any therapist can tell you this, but differentiating between guilt and shame is pretty important for people. Essentially, at their most basic forms, guilt is I did something bad, and shame is I am bad. I did something bad, guilt, I am bad, shame. If I punch my little sister and then my little sister gets teary eyed and she cries, and I feel bad for that, and then I never punch my little sister again, then a little bit of guilt in that context is probably a good thing. I've learned a life lesson, and that's okay if I feel a little bit guilty in that moment. And again, going back to what I said at the beginning of the video about guilt, there's a differentiation between someone's identity and their behaviors, right? Oh man, I punched my little sister. I feel rotten about it, but I know I'm actually a good person. And I'm never going to punch my little sister again. Fair enough. We'll take it. Now, shame is different, right? Shame is it's actually not even so much an emotion. It's a belief, right? It's a lot deeper. It's I am bad, right? Not I feel bad for kind of doing something bad. It's I am bad. I'm faulty. I'm unworthy. I'm broken. Shame's tough, man, and it can really kind of wreak havoc on people. I work with a lot of people where shame is this kind of persistent just weight that just grinds them away all the time, right? And that belief that I'm bad or I'm unworthy or I'm broken, it weighs heavy on people. One thing I've noticed about shame is that when it seems to me that when people are feeling shame, they struggle to make eye contact. Okay. And so, eye contact's important in lots of contexts. I'm all for that, but if you're a parent talking to a kid or an authority figure talking to a person that's a subordinate, and maybe they're really struggling with eye contact, maybe they're feeling some shame. I mean, I don't know. Shame is persistent. We can change our thoughts, we can change our emotions, we can change our actions, but changing our beliefs is difficult. It takes a lot of work to change our beliefs, and oftentimes those beliefs, they're formed when we're young, and then there's little kind of daily things that we do oftentimes to reinforce that throughout life. Another thing about shame I've noticed is it really makes it hard for people to take accountability for negative behaviors they've had, but it also makes it really tough for people to take credit for when they do things well or they get things right. The weight of shame weighs on people so hard that it just seems totally impossible for them to acknowledge positive things they do, right? It's like, I'm a bad person, so anything I do that's positive, it doesn't matter. And it also makes it really, really hard for them to take accountability for things and even look at negative behaviors, right? Because you think you're just horrible, then why would you want to look at some negative behaviors that you engaged in and be reminded of that? So it's really tough on people. Just made a video about accountability and parenting, and I think that allowing people to take accountability for things that they've done that they're not proud of, when they offer that up, is really, really important. And that is one of the remedies for shame, right? That's one of the ways people can get out of it, is offering up some accountability. That accountability is a form of vulnerability, as we know, and that's an important remedy. Oftentimes practicing competency can be helpful, right? Building up your identity in other areas. Maybe I think I'm a rotten person, but I'm good at some other things, and my identity is kind of diversified. It's not just one singular thing that I'm focused on. My identity isn't focused in just one singular realm, if you will. So, folks, I hope this is helpful. I kind of talked more about shame than guilt, and the belief aspect there. But go to shoulderseasoncounseling.com if you have any questions. Don't hesitate to reach out, folks. Take care.